Over the last 24 hours, there's been an uproar in Springbok social media because of the lineman camp squad that got dropped yesterday. A couple of new inclusions, but more importantly, a couple of players that were left out, and some people are not happy about it. But I'm here to say, I think Rassie has everyone fooled, and here's what I mean. So yesterday, Rassie Erasmus dropped the 54-man alignment squad, the second alignment squad of the year that will be taking place on the 22nd and 23rd of May. The three newcomers, Vincent Chachuka, Giorno Augustus or Troki, and Ntokozo Makaza. Now, people were very, very happy about some of these guys coming in. I think there's different levels of surprise factor. Troki being the most obvious one. A lot of people have been asking for him for a couple of years. Even back when Dwayne Vermeulen was playing 8 for the Springboks, a lot of people were saying that Augustus should get a shot in the Springbok jersey. Then I think a level up is Vincent Chachuka, and I think the only reason he was left out of the first alignment camp squad, and maybe even the squad from last year, is because he didn't have eligibility because he had the wrong passports, right? So that's been fixed. He finally has his South African passport, him and his brother Manu, so they can officially be selected for the Springbok squad. And then you've got the most surprising candidate, and that's Ntokozo Makaza. Now, Makaza has absolutely lit up the Varsity Cup in the last 2 years, but what's very surprising is that he hasn't played a pro-level rugby game. He's just signed for the Cheetahs. He might even play his first Springbok game before he plays his first Currie Cup game, which just shows what a left field pick that is from Rassie Erasmus. But obviously, Rassie has seen something in him. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. 24 to 24 kicks in his last 3 games for in the Varsity Cup. He's won back-to-back man of the seasons in the Varsity Cup. So Makaza he's a baller. Yes, he's only 23. Yes, he hasn't played any professional rugby, but obviously Rassie Erasmus sees something very, very special in him. Now, on the flip side, there's guys that have been left out of the alignment camp squad. Guys like Evan Roos, guys like Johan Grobler, guys like Pepsi Buthelezi, Lorenzo Julius. Now, these are big names within South African rugby. If you think about Evan Roos, he's been having a phenomenal season for the Stormers. He played 2 test matches for the Springboks last year. He's been left out. Lorenzo Julius has been on the lips of absolutely everyone. He's been left out of this alignment camp. So a lot of people are unhappy with who's been left out, and there are a couple of question marks with some of the guys that were kept in. But I'm here to tell you that I think Rassie Erasmus is playing his mind games again, playing his tricks, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. The first example I'm going to start with is Edwill van der Merwe. Now, you might be asking me, Jordan, why Edwill van der Merwe? Well, last year, Edwill van der Merwe went to no alignment camp squad meetings with the Springboks and then ended up starting the first test match of the year against Wales, ended up scoring in that test match. And then a lot of people were very pro Edwill. A lot of people have been asking, where's Edwill been? Now, he did suffer a little bit of an injury, but he's back in the mix. But I think that is a perfect example of not to get our hopes up of players that are in the alignment camp squad and players that are out of the alignment camp squad. I mean, Edwill didn't even go to an alignment camp last year, and he ended up having a phenomenal performance for the Springboks. So I wouldn't read too much into who's going and who's not. Rassie Erasmus is also very, very good at setting up smoke screens, smoke and mirrors. He's going to allow the media to look this way. He's going to allow the opponents to look this way while the plans are actually happening over here. And I'm going to give you some more examples on that. What we have to remember is that Rassie Erasmus knows these players a lot better than I know them, a lot better than you guys know them. So it might be tactical that he left some of them out. If you think about Evan Roos, maybe he's left him out of the squad because he wants him hungry for the Springbok season. He wants him to go and perform now for the Stormers in the quarterfinals, semifinals of the URC and really show what he's about. I also think it's very tactical that he's left Evan Roos out and brought in Giorno Augustus, almost saying like to the public that is a fair trade. Like we drop in Evan Roos and we bring in Troki, and that's going to give hopefully some fire under Evan Roos, and hopefully he can go out and perform and grab that jersey with both hands. You look at a guy like Johan Grobler and Joseph Dwebo, who's been left out, and Marnus van der Merwe from the Scarlets, who doesn't even have a cap test for the Springboks, has been brought in. Maybe this is Rassie Erasmus testing these players that he didn't call up to the second alignment camp. Maybe he's saying to them, the Bulls are performing phenomenally well. If the Bulls go on and win the URC and Johan Grobler has a key role to play in that, let him be hungry. Let him go and grab that jersey. This isn't a free fall. Just because you're playing good rugby doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be picked for the Springboks. There's obviously a bit of a deeper thing. Maybe they don't want it enough yet. Maybe Rassie Erasmus is testing them. How do they come back and push out of this this adversity that Rassie Erasmus is putting them through. Then you've also got guys like Keegan Johannes, Marcel Coetzee, Ruan Venter, who's been left out. Ruan Venter had a phenomenal season for the Lions. Marcel Coetzee, yes, who is a little bit old, but this is Rassie kind of saying, doesn't matter how good you play, if you don't fit our plans for the 2027 Rugby World Cup, if you're going to be 36 or 37 by 2027, then it doesn't matter if you're playing good rugby, you don't fit the roadmap that we have for the Springboks leading in to that 2027 World Cup year. Keegan Johannes, who's done a phenomenal job for the Bulls at 9 and 10 this season, but with all the competition in especially that 10 jersey with Sasha, with Marnie, with Handré Pollard, Jordan Hendrickse, does it fit in? He's now got an opportunity, Keegan Johannes, with Johan Goosen out to really perform in the URC knockout stages, and maybe he can force himself in to that Springbok side. I think with every headline that the press are putting out about a shocking omission or a surprise selection is all part of the plan. Talk about how it builds pressure, sets traps for the opponents, builds this internal fire within the squad for fighting for that position, that 10, 11, 7 jersey. Rassie's biggest tool isn't the team sheet. Rassie's biggest tool is confusion, and we've seen him do this throughout his career. So it surprises me when even I sit back and I look at this alignment camp and I'm like, why? Why are these players not in? But that's the questions he wants people to be asking. He wants to create smoke and mirrors. He wants, if the South African public doesn't know what's going on, then the New Zealand public's not going to know what's going on. The Italians aren't going to know what's going on. So I think this is all part of his master plan to test out a couple of guys in this alignment camp, test out a couple of guys in that alignment camp, and then let's see how they perform when they don't get selected. Are they going to go into their shell, or are they going to break out of their shell and really perform when the time comes and when the pressure's at its highest? I don't think this alignment camp is about July. I don't think it's about the squad that's going to play Italy and it's going to play Georgia. I think this is the squad that's going to be building throughout the year, throughout 2026, throughout 2027. I think if we look at the alignment camp from 2 months ago in February to now, we have so much depth in that, and it would shock me if Rassie Erasmus doesn't give starts or chances to a guy like Lorenzo Julius, to a guy like Evan Ruiz, Pepsi Buthelezi, who have been left out. There is space and time to test all of these combinations. Now, we do have a lot of depth, but that fire within the team to go after that jersey is what is going to make the Springboks so successful moving into that 2027 World Cup year. Yes, the public are putting a lot of pressure on Rassie, on Saru, on the players that haven't been selected, on the players that have been selected. I've seen a couple of guys asking in the comments, why is this player being selected? Why is this player being selected? But that's all part of Rassie Erasmus's plan, and I think we need to take a step back. And even me making these videos, I'm not saying that I know everything about South African rugby. I'm opening up a conversation that we can have to why he would do this. What's the deeper meaning? Is there a deeper meaning? Are we looking too deep into it? But I do think there's a master plan behind this. Rassie Erasmus knows how to test players, especially the younger players, how to test them, how to put them through adversity. And those ones that break through and rise up another level, those are the guys you want at the 2027 Rugby World Cup. So I wouldn't look too deeply into this alignment camp squad. I don't think it's the final squad for the July series, for the Rugby Championship, and for the November series. I think it's Rassie Erasmus testing out different avenues, giving guys like an Ntokozo Mukaza, a Vincent Chachuka, a Joarno Augustus an opportunity to be around the team, learn the ethos, learn the pattern, learn the moves, and also try and send a message to the other guys that he hasn't invited. So I wouldn't look too deeply into the squad. I know a lot of people will, but I definitely don't think this is sort of narrowed down the squad. I still think we had about a 70 or 80 pool of players, or a 70 to 80 player squad, and I think Rassie Erasmus is only going to narrow it down closer to that Barbarians and to that Italian clash. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button, leave this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.